Tell that to the 300,000 kids who were living in poverty 3 years ago, who aren't now, and whose families can enjoy simple things like better school supplies and healthier food. To the millions of working Canadians who now have a stronger Canada pension plan, which the Conservatives voted against and opposed every step of the way. Try to tell them that we're just image and not substance. To the more than 700,000 seniors who have almost $1,000 more every year they can rely on from old age security, and to the grandparents who can afford to take their kids to hockey games or a movie. Those are the things we've done. Try to tell it to the more than 600,000 Canadians who have new jobs that we've created in the past 2.5 years, or the people who've benefited from the lowest unemployment rates in almost 40 years. That's the difference we've been making. My friends, we're focused on having a real impact in the lives of Canadians. We're focused every day on the middle class and people working hard to join it. And we're going to stay focused on them. The first thing we did was lower taxes on the middle class and raise them on the wealthiest 1%. And people know that that has made a difference. We've delivered on a Canada Child Benefit. We've continued to have a positive impact on the daily lives of Canadians with our historic investments in infrastructure, because the Conservatives and the NDP were too timid to offer investments in infrastructure across the country. And we know that investing in our communities, investing in Canadians, is the best way to deliver growth for Canadians. We made a bet on Canadians. We knew that if we put more money in their pockets, we invested more in their communities, not only would Canadians flourish, but our whole economy would flourish. For 10 years, under Stephen Harper, we had the lowest growth rates since the depths of the Great Depression in this country. And last year, thanks to our plan, thanks to all of you and your hard work as Canadians, we had the highest growth rate in the G7. That's with a plan that's focused on investing in Canadians, putting more money in the pockets of folks who need them, and looking always for ways to innovate and bring people together. We know the world is changing. We know that there are opportunities for bold, forward-looking, ambitious countries that are willing to reach out and sign progressive trade deals. And that's exactly what we've done with historic trade deals with Europe, with the growing economies of Asia, and we're renegotiating NAFTA. We're looking towards South America. We know that the next move is good for all of us. And at the same time, we see the changing nature of work, the challenges, digitization, and advances in AI, and the transformation that's going to have in our economies. And we know there's a choice to be made. Either we sit back and try and drag our heels and keep what we have as long as we can and stretch it out in the old ways, or we boldly look to the future and say, you know what? The future will belong to those who help shape it. And we know that Canadians, as educated and innovative and creative and hardworking and confident as we are, we can lead into the future. And that's why we're doubling down on investing in science, technology, engineering, and math, investing in coding for kids, investing in AI so that we can help shape a brighter future, not just for the world, not just for our economy, but for all Canadians. That's what investing in the future means. Pays, mes amis. Nous sommes confiants, pas à cause de notre géographie, pas à cause de notre histoire, mais bien to roll up their sleeves and work hard. People who understand that differences are a source of strength, never a source of weakness. That is what our advantage is in this world. And we are at a time where the world is filled with divisions, where the world is filled with negative campaigning and the politics of division and fear, the politics of populism and nationalism and identity, and people trying to create wedges within communities and across communities. Well, to that, Canada stands as an example that says, no, we succeed better when we all succeed together, when we focus on coming together to solve our big challenges instead of pointing fingers and trying to lay blame. That is our advantage as a country. That is our advantage as Canadians. And that's what we're going to keep working on. My friends, we are approaching another election campaign a year from now. And let me tell you, I am incredibly looking forward to that campaign. Because we have a great story to tell about what we've done. But mostly, we have a great story to tell about where Canadians are going, about the kind of future we want to build. And if I'm going to be entirely honest here, I'm looking forward to putting our vision of a confident, hopeful, positive, inclusive Canada up against the vision that our opponents will be putting forward in the 2018 election. The leader of the opposition himself introduced himself to Canadians a year ago as Stephen Harper with a smile. His words, not ours. As if the biggest problem with the previous Conservative government was Mr. Harper's facial expressions. I'll tell you this. It wasn't Stephen Harper's frown that created the worst growth record since the Great Depression. It wasn't his demeanor that cut veterans' pensions and closed their service centers. It wasn't his mood that failed to get a pipeline built or to take climate change seriously. No, my friends, it wasn't Stephen Harper's personal disposition that And if there's one thing, and there may only be one thing we've learned about the Conservative Party under Andrew Scheer's leadership, it's this. It may be Andrew Scheer's smile, but it's still fear and division. If anything, they've been emboldened by successful campaigns elsewhere in the world that divide people against each other. He's planning on going back on our plan to fight climate change. He's planning on cutting or getting rid of the Canada Child Benefit, which he voted against, which we know helps 9 out of 10 Canadian families and lifts hundreds of thousands of kids out of poverty. He's wanting to weaken our stronger gun control laws at a time where Toronto and the entire country is worried about the increasing gun violence. These are not the kinds of things that Canadians want, and I look forward to putting our record and our positive vision of fairness, of inclusivity, of investment in the middle class and those working hard to join it, and an optimistic vision of the future that brings us together to solve our problems instead of scaring people about them. That's the kind of vision that Canadians want, my friends. Et pour ça, nous comptons sur vous. Nous comptons sur votre appui, votre amitié. Nous comptons sur le travail que vous allez faire dans vos communautés pour cogner sur les portes, pour faire des appels. C'est ça le travail que nous devons faire, pas juste pour gagner des élections, mais pour connecter avec les Canadiens. That's why we're counting on all of you to get involved, to stay involved, to go knock doors, to make phone calls, to bring your communities together, to talk about this optimistic, positive vision of the future when our opponents will be slinging mud and making personal attacks, and stay focused.